Wow. Just wow. What a boxing match. If those of you that have not seen it yet, we just witnessed Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort. And it is essentially to be expected what the outcome was. All of the media sources, everyone who's predicting an outcome in this fight, said that while Evander is a better boxer, likely, he's got one of the best boxers of all time, historically. The man fought Foreman. The man beat Tyson. Big name. With that being said, he is 58 years old. And at this point in his career, he wouldn't be able to withstand the punches that a TRT-filled Vitor Belfort can dole out, can dish out. And that's what happened in this match. Now, mind you, I don't know about you, but I was expecting this to go 4 or 5 rounds, only 2-minute rounds. In my mind, if Evander can throw off enough jabs, if he can pull back enough, he can actually pull the upset off, even though being 10 years older. But clearly, what everyone's assumptions were to be that Vitor would come in, have the strength advantage, have the youth advantage. As much as he doesn't have the boxing experience, he was known as a fairly good striker during his MMA days. That just turned out to be how the fight was. Now, Vitor was preparing for someone like Oscar De La Hoya, who is also one of the best boxers of all time, who hasn't actually boxed professionally since fighting Manny Pacquiao back in 2008. If you're not taking into account the age factor, then you might think that the Evander Holyfield with a weight advantage, a reach advantage, height advantage might be able to fare better against Vitor Belfort than De La Hoya would have. But in all reality, not taking to the age into account is huge because you need to. Those 10 years, like we're not on Rocky 5 or the Rocky Balboa movie where 6-year-old Rocky is facing one of the best boxers on the planet at the time and actually ends up coming to a draw. That's a Cinderella moment. That's just not a reality moment. And Evander Holyfield showed us today that age will catch up to anyone, especially in a boxing ring. Now, we didn't see this as much with Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. Reason for that being, they're both of that older age category. And looking at tonight's fight, I think Tyson would destroy Holyfield if he comes out with any kind of aggressiveness like Belfort did. Holyfield just didn't have the movement. He didn't have the speed to be able to withstand it. He got dropped in the first minute and a half, yes. But he also slipped at one point and ended up in the ropes completely on the ground. When you're ending up on the canvas twice in the first round, no wonder he lost. And he didn't even get, for those of you that didn't watch it, so Vitor Belfort came out aggressive. Holyfield was not bobbing, was not weaving like he should have been. We all expected the jab to come out. The jab never showed up. And Belfort just kept throwing power punches. Imagine, eventually, all Holyfield was doing was putting his guard up and blocking. The ref called it because at that point, he showed no actual aggressiveness to be able to hold off any punches. Now, if we're talking about a fighter who's 35 years old, they let that fight go on longer. Now, the ref is not an idiot. The ref realizes that Evander Holyfield is 58 years old, and if things go wrong, there's some very, very large consequences on his health. And Holyfield wanted to be able to walk out of there on his own 2 feet. If things would have went longer, he might not have been walking out there on his own 2 feet. That being said, if he was a younger fighter, then they would have let it go on much longer because the TKO was called very, very early, mainly due to Holyfield's age. But looking back, as I mentioned, I don't know if Holyfield could even stand a chance against Tyson, or even Roy Jones Jr. for that matter. Both those guys came out strong. They came out aggressive. They came out with speed. They came out moving. They came out punching. Holyfield came out and said, "Hey guys, I'm gonna get paid today," and that was about the most he put out there. And I'm sure he wanted to do better. I'm sure that we would have loved to see him do better. I'm sure he expected himself to do better. But he's 58 years old. That's what it comes down to. Belfort is not. Belfort is 14 years younger, and he might not have the boxing experience, but he had the power that all he had to do was keep punching. And Holyfield couldn't do anything about it because he didn't have the speed or reaction time to be able to get out of the way, be able to bob, be able to weave, be able to slip punches, to be able to punch back. It was a pretty sad end to Holyfield's boxing career. With that being said, I would have loved to see him. He was supposed to originally fight another boxer who is closer to his age category. We all know that did not happen, but that's kind of where he should have been boxing, and maybe we would have seen a better outcome. Him versus Kevin Mcbride, gentleman who beat Tyson in his last fight. Now that would have been a good fight because they're both older, they're both out of the game, and maybe he could have noticed in that fight that he should not be fighting a high caliber opponent anymore. Maybe not fighting at all anymore. I wish that would have been the way Holyfield's legacy ended. I don't think this is a very positive ending. I really would love to see Belfort versus Anderson Silva, though. Now, Belfort showed me that he's aggressive at least, and I think Silva would be putting up a similar fight to Holyfield, yet be able to be a lot quicker. And that's a big thing with how Belfort won tonight. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think that Holyfield should be fighting again, if you think he should have never fought to begin with, or if Vitor Belfort, if you think he's actually a very solid boxer. Let me know your opinions on this all. As always, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.